What is going on, everyone? It is, whew, I don't have to say it. Y'all know what it is. It's hot outside. Been out doing the market thing today. What's going on, Hank? Welcome. I just got back from a partial market run. Oh my gosh, which means my night's gonna be fun. It's a food processing night. We are just going to hang out for a minute, and I want to share with you guys, because this has been like popping up the last few days for me, and it just keeps bugging me. So we gonna talk about it, and I mean, it's 4:20, so we might as well. So, relationships. You know, ships. What do ships do? They take us places, right? Okay. Yet, every day I meet people. Heck, there was times in my life, relationships were like the thing fucking my life up. Stay with me. But it was when I became better acquainted with myself, when that relationship got strong and grounded in its truest nature, that the other relationships in my life quit being such hardships. How many times have you felt you've had all these different challenges, or that this is going unnoticed? For example, all the hard work you potentially do. Maybe you go out of your way and you go above and beyond, right? And then one day something happens and you're just extra tired, and you're really in your everything, your feels, your emotions, and that one right thing happens, and then it's like you fire off, I do this, I do that, I'm never appreciated. Now, if this has ever happened to you, I want you to be honest with yourself. This is the only person that you're hanging out with right now. This is a time for you. Be honest with yourself. Did anyone actually ask you to do all those things? Where there may be places that you went too far above, too far beyond. And that's not a bad thing. But when we allow ourselves to ask these honest questions, is when we start getting real answers and come up with ways that we can actually fix the problem. Because see, when we always feel like the problem's coming at us, well, then we don't have control, right? But here's the kicker. Most of us did not grow up to be independent. Let's just be honest. We had a lot of parents who put a lot of their shit on us, plus their parent shit that was put on them, and they didn't stop to unbind from it. So it just kept going, right? A lot of us weren't blessed with guides, people who would notice, oh, that's how they do that. Okay, now let me just go ahead and help you understand that a little better so you don't get hurt. Most of us didn't have that growing up. So I get it. A lot of us either had to be the problem solver, be the person that created the lightening the mood in the room. So you kind of took on that mantle. But with every relationship you walk into, friendship, an employee relationship, boss, maybe you're going to walk into being a boss. It doesn't matter, because here's the kicker. No matter what or how you were raised, it is now your responsibility to unbind from some of these things. I did a story a couple days ago, and I said, how many coats do you have on that aren't even really yours, that could come off, that you haven't even assessed yet? Maybe somebody else put them on you when you was a kid, and you've just been walking around with them on this whole time like, oh, it's mine. But have you stopped to understand, is it really yours? Or did somebody tell you it was yours, and, well, now you're wearing it, and you're feeling kind of awkward and heavy, right? So our relationships get better when we stop and go further than, well, this is how it's always been. Because see, our relationships, mainly starting with the one with ourselves, dictate everything around us, believe it or not. It dictates how we move. It dictates the insecurities that we haven't dealt with and allowed to come to the forefront, which, let me say, your insecurities are not stopping you. Your fear is. Your insecurities are actually the key to your deepest self-love and self-discovery journey. So there's that one for you. Go ahead and just get over your insecurities. They are you. It's the thing you're not comfortable doing yet because you ain't done it a lot. Think about it like this. Your insecurities are the equivalent of when you were a kid and learning to ride a bike. You didn't know how to do it when you first got on it, right? Well, that's why you're insecure about the things you're insecure about. You didn't know about them until you know about them. So go learn something about them. But that relationship with self has to get strong. So if you were always made or felt made to be the person that made the room lighter or be the problem solver, and this has always been your position, okay, now it's time to get real and get honest with yourself. Where am I overgiving? Where am I being the reason that I could feel like someone took advantage? People can't take what you don't give. See, I'm at a place in my life, the only thing people can take from me is notes. That's it. There ain't a damn thing I got that you can take. Plain and simple. But until you can get to that point, everything feels like a push, pull, tug of war. They're against me. Well, anytime you keep running up against a wall and you want somebody else to change, that's a good moment to pivot and go see what you could be doing. Because if you're that worried about what they need to be doing, most likely they're mirroring to you what you already know you need to be going and doing for your damn self, which is probably setting stronger boundaries, saying no instead of yes all the damn time because you feel some kind of way. I understand that one too. I was the queen of I couldn't say no. It physically made me ill. Like I would get this, if I had to tell someone no, it burdened me to feel like I might have to let someone down. But you know what I came to understand and learn through life? There's sometimes that you don't tell people no, and then 6 months from now you bitching because they haven't learned their lesson. But you still have failed to realize you the reason they didn't learn it. Why? Because there you was. Yes, 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 yes. Sometimes that going through it, that pain, they have to endure that. You can't lessen somebody's lesson. What you do is create more problems for them and for yourself. The things you want fixed don't get fixed always by you getting in there and doing something. Sometimes the things you need to be doing is sitting back. I've said this before. There's sometimes that people, I call them hyper helpers. Ooh, I need to help, but ain't nobody asked you for help yet. But you just know that you can help. If no one's even told you how you can help, you're not helping. I remember being a kid in the kitchen. I'd be like, I'm gonna help. How you gonna help, Erica? We don't need you. We didn't ask for your help yet. But but you're in the way. You're not helping. You gotta become aware of when you're honestly helping and when you're hurting, even yourself. I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and we actually are business partners as well the other day. And she's going through this turmoil of, I've done so much for so many people. And I asked her, I said, can I just ask you an honest question? She said, sure. I said, all these people that you planted and gave business to and this and that, I said, when you gave it to them, had they shown you anything other than, I'm not here. I was like, had they actually showed up and shown you anything? And she said, no. I was like, okay, well, it's kind of like this. When you're not protecting what you already have, why would the divine give you more? If you have not sat down with yourself and gotten honest and seen, where am I boundless and I'm harming myself and setting other people up for failures because I'm not letting them go through their life and leaving space for them. Because see, a lot of times you think you're blocked up and not getting something because it's something you're doing wrong. And while that's right, it's also wrong. But here's where you're right. You are doing something wrong. You keep thinking the problem's outside of you. Oh, if this person would do this, then I could. How about we turn that around and look at what could you do differently? Because see, if I'm sitting in my friend and business partner's position, first thing I'm going to ask myself when I start feeling kind of, I'm going to be like, wait a minute, why am I feeling like I need to give this person anything? What What have they done to show me that I need to take money out of my pocket and just give it to them? Like, we're here to build a business, right? It'd be different if I just saw you on the side of the street, you were holding a sign. That's a whole different scenario. But I'm talking in a business sense. You got to bring your logic into whatever sense you're dealing with. Everything can't be dealt with on the same level. So I always say you got to learn to live in the gray, is what I like to call it, because it's not black and white. Because on a business level, I'm evaluating a lot of things before I just start opening my business, my contacts, my everything. Why? Because everybody doesn't know how to treat your stuff. They don't. Y'all know I had somebody live with me one time, and I had a jar full of change from when I bartended. Now, when I started filling that jar and when it got full, I lived by myself. When me and this individual moved in together, that jar came with me. I didn't get in it. I never got in it. But this one day, like 7 months after we lived together, 7 months, guys, I go to just grab some change out of it to go to the corner store. And y'all know what I found? This isn't the jar, but imagine a jar like this, but bigger, wider, full to the brim with nothing but silver, mainly quarters. Because again, I was a bartender. I found there was like this much change, okay, in my jar. And they had the nerve to look at me and say, well, but we live together. Bitch, but it's not yours. You didn't fucking put a dime in to contribute to this. But here's the kicker. You've walked by me how many times before clearing that jar out? And you could have asked, but you didn't. So see, a lot of times we be giving people liberties and then get mad. We didn't assess. We didn't fully sit back and assess. So like what I said with my friend and like what I want to say with you here, are you honestly assessing? Because if you are not assessing what's coming at you and what you really need to be meeting it with, then you can't get mad about a lot of things when you honestly sit down and let the emotions fade and just think about it. But the thing that's really been bugging me about relationships is this. Y'all know, whether you've personally been through it or you've watched somebody go through it, you all know that the people you are around, the people you hold allegiance to, they have ripple. We all got ripples, but you really feel their ripples. It kind of goes back to that, man, I'm walking around, I'm planting good seeds, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why is all this bad stuff happening to me? Meanwhile, you might have had that gut feeling, man, something ain't quite right with my partner, this, that, or the third. You discount it, you ignore it, whatever, time goes on. You can't really pinpoint it, you're tired of overthinking it. Whatever. 3 months later, comes up, your partner done some shit when y'all wasn't together that you didn't know about. And all them seeds is rippling back and hitting you. Why? Because you're in agreement with them. You are united with them. You're inevitably going to feel the ripple. Same goes for when your children do something or this part. You're going to feel the ripple. And the harder, have you ever noticed the people, the harder they try to align with that person that's way out of vibration and way out of sync with them, the worse their life gets. Have y'all ever noticed that, right? I know I have. Hell, I've experienced it, right? Trying to, I'm gonna stick it out because I'm an imp. I'm a good. No, I was being a devil to myself by staying in those situations. I wasn't being an empath. I was being a self-sabotager and just all kinds of shit. But here's what I find ironic. I wonder if people have stopped to take a moment to wonder what their allegiance to any political figure is doing to their life, the ripples. Because let's be honest, okay, that's great. So this political figure stands with this belief of yours. But if you're happy they stand with this belief, that means you're also got to be okay with the shit they're doing in the dark that you might not be aware of, right? But they're your candidate because they do this. But your allegiance is responsible for all that they do. I mean, why do you think they talk about generational curses so hard? They're true. They're true. And until that person decides to examine some things from a different perspective of, well, everybody's coming at me, and really take some time and dig in and look, they don't really fully understand that the sins of the father pass down to the child. Okay, well, what do you think your relationships do in the now realm? That is rippling back. So I don't get offended when people comment and say, well, you're a part of the problem because you don't vote. No, I'm not. You know why? Because my life got better the moment I quit voting. I quit taking on ripples because I quit being the mouthpiece of people that I don't really know who the fuck they are or what they're really about or doing, just because they align with a couple of things that I align with. I'm a trillion fucking things. No, there is not one political person that could ever govern my life effectively. That's a word for somebody. Somebody gonna catch that and it's gonna be a freedom for them. But you know, people say to me, well, the utopia it can never be real. You're right, because the collective doesn't want to let go of greed. But the collective doesn't understand you own nothing any fucking ways, but you have access to everything. Strengthening your discernment will let you know what you're really supposed to be accessing, though. Let's think about it. Flowers die. Grass dies. You will die. Someone you know has died. Everything in this life that begins will end. I didn't say it's today or tomorrow, but it will end. That's just a fact. We watch it happen every day. But we still let ourselves be so spun up by what people told us we could do. We could be a homeowner. We can own this land. You don't own shit. It's yours while you're here. Use it wisely. Learn how to reproduce it. Wisely, safely, effectively, for all. So yeah, in the sense that people want to keep nurturing, no, utopia couldn't exist because there's too much greed. People keep thinking they can own something and they don't even own the damn self. Like, let's be real. To belong never actually had to do with belongings. It didn't have to do with an actual belonging. It had to do with belonging, connectedness. Throughout time, that word was morphed into meaning materialistic things and to display ownership. But baby dolls, baby boos, the only thing you own is you. So if you haven't began to get that relationship in check, nothing's gonna go right. It's not. You're gonna keep tripping over yourself and this and that. I want to close with this. I want to talk to the parents, because see, when I always say this too on my platform, it starts at home. I don't care what kind of house you live in. I don't care if life has brought you a disparity and you might now be living in your car. I've been there too. But wherever you are home. So make it clean. Make it someplace you would want to be. Make it someplace you understand. You ever went to stay with somebody for any length of time and you like, man, I can't wait to get home because I don't know where nothing's at in this house. Like, and their organization don't make sense to me. Okay, good. Quit trying to let everybody else organize you. Go somewhere and let yourself get organized. But I want to end talking to the parents, especially of like the smallest, youngest ones, okay? There was this one time, my grandma Emma, she was cool. She was a guide. I got the ultimate duality when I got here. I got a guide and I got a stifler. And people wonder why I am the way I am. My guide let me show her who I was. And then she molded from there and gave me things I needed. My stifler, she tried to tell me who I was. And then needed me to be who she never blossomed to be. Instead of just going and being her own person. But my guide, Emma, well, one day I said to her, I had just started school. I was 4. And I had said, I was like, Gran, I would like some cream of wheat. And she said, in a minute. She was on the phone. I wasn't dying. But I knew where the cream of wheat box was. I knew what pot we used. I knew where it was. I knew how to get a chair and move it to the sink and get water. I knew how to do all these things. Since a child, I've been that person. I can watch it and be like, I bet you I can do that. And then I would just go do it. Well, in the midst of me doing it, as I'm pouring the cream of wheat in the pot, here comes Gran around the corner, and she's like, I got to go, Sister Ian. And she hangs the phone up. And she said, what are you doing, Erica? I was like, you said in a minute. I didn't want to bug you. I wanted it now. And she said, do you know that could hurt you? Yes, but I haven't turned the stove on. Okay, Erica, but how do you know that how do you know that is even what you want? because it's the dude on the box that I look at every morning. That's how I know. Plus that says cream of wheat. She said, so you're definitely that human. And I was like, what human? She goes, come on. If you're going to do this, I'm going to teach you how to do it right. And from that moment on, anytime she was in the kitchen cooking, guess who was in there with her? Learning. I was. Now, I know so many parents that would have yelled, screamed, beat their kid, then told them how they were too young to be under. Why are you here? Why are you doing it? You're too young. Let the children lead you. They are miniature humans. They came here with a purpose of their own. Do not set them up for the same damn life cycle that we done just came through. Don't do it. Why would you do it to them? Because see, everybody talks about a midlife crisis, but the only thing I have come to the conclusion of is the same thing I ran in my stories on this page yesterday. It still be there. And I know it's on my other page in stories this morning I ran it. Midlife crisis is when you are unshedding all the shit that was put on you to begin with. Because the first half of your life is about who you need to become to survive. Who you got to be to survive in that house that you didn't ask to be born into. It was these people that you're just like, oh, here we go. You know, the next half of your life is about shedding all that shit. There's your midlife crisis, people. So instead of going and buying that Corvette or wasting that money or arguing with this person, elevate that relationship with yourself. Because when that relationship with yourself elevates, it's inevitable what happens to all the relationships around you. Because one of two things happens when you elevate your own relationship. You start standing on your words. So now you don't appear wobbly. Because some of you say out your mouth, I don't want X. But then you, I'll give a little bit of leeway to it. And then get mad when somebody comes up and just does it. And you're like, why do they think they can do that? Because you keep showing them that they can do that. You become the greatest asset to yourself and your family unit and those that care about you and lean on you when you are honestly standing in your authentic self, which equals knowing when to use your boundaries. Because running around here exhausted and then trying to act like it's because you're a caregiver to your parent, well, you're not even doing the service joyfully, so why the fuck are you doing it anyways? Oh, because it's your duty? Well, we're not here to do things out of duty. You should be doing it out of love, everything that you do. Because if you can't do it from there, guess what? That's also why you're coming up against blockages in finances or this or that. You cannot be and think your life is gonna. Okay? All right. So, while you want to get mad at everybody else, this is what I'm going to leave you with that my grandmother would always say. Go scratch that mad place and get glad. Have a great day.